Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Thank you so much. I extend a hearty welcome to Mariana here. Uh, she is a spiritual leader. She's a registered psychologist in Australia and is an accomplished businesswoman. She currently consults as a psychologist and is the director of Aspire Health and Psychology. Mariana is passionate about people's well-being and her health, wealth, and happiness. She lives her life teaching, counseling, and mentoring people towards their life. She's also passionate about business and assisting people to meet their financial and personal goals through business. She has completed a Bachelor of Science and postgraduate in psychology and a master's in psychology. She has had many years of experience as a psychologist working with people who are experiencing a range of concerns from moderate distress and trauma to severe psychiatric conditions. Her therapeutic work is strongly influenced by both Western psychology and indigenous therapeutic models and framework, as well as brain research and quantum physics. She's a philanthropist and is the director of the Learning Center for Human Development in Australia. And she also offers resources and education in the area of personal development and personal empowerment. Thank you so much, Mariana. It's so great to know you. And we welcome you to this third World Parliament of Spirituality. So please do share your thoughts and words of wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful to be here. I've worked for a long time in the field of health and psychology, and I know there's many conditions and many situations that people continue to present with that I'd like to just share a little bit about some tools that can help people to overcome trauma. Justin gave a beautiful presentation on the understanding of trauma and how it functions in the brain. And I know many of us are working in this space of how can we help people heal and overcome the influences. And, you know, you can use the word trauma, and I think people don't understand how it applies to them. But, you know, because we think of the big T traumas, like big events that happen in your life might be, say, a car accident or, you know, some major painful event that would stand out as like a big T event. And in those trauma events, the mind and the brain rewires. So in that moment where your brain is flooded and overcome by emotion, it's in that moment that the brain will take on the negative belief of that situation. So for example, if it's a car accident, you might think I'm unsafe. In that moment of flooding, the brain holds the perspective of I'm unsafe. And because it's overwhelming, it'll actually store in the unconscious mind. And so then when we're going about our day-to-day life, after the event is over and when we're free of the event, it continues to then bubble up in the moment to moment. So you might later get back in the car and still feel afraid, even though logically speaking and thinking, you actually know that you're very unlikely to have another accident. It's just programmed now in the brain. And now that's something that's beyond your logic and reasoning. It's there. So, and there are many, many tools to overcome these big trauma events. But it's just good to understand how it functions in the brain, because it's because of the sciences, we can now find so many ways to overcome these things. Nothing's locked in place. As Justin was sharing, where our brains are plastic, they can change. And so we can rewire all these things. I guess what a lot of people don't get aware of is that there are the small T events, the small traumas, and these are more the pervasive events that happen in your life, like maybe you felt your sibling was loved more than you, or, you know, there were just sort of these chronic kind of conditions that you were in around in your environment, in your families, or the culture that you're in, and they can become sort of pervasive underlying emotions and thoughts, and then they're hard to get aware of because they're almost background noise. They're always there, and sometimes if they've been around for a long time, it's even really hard to know that there could be a different reality from some of those underlying programmed feelings, because they just sort of, the identity takes it on and it just feels like it is you. And so I guess a lot of people are dealing with these emotional habits, and I say literally habits. We get addicted to our emotion like you might get addicted to any other drug. Like if you were a smoker, you get addicted to that. We get addicted to our emotional states, and the body and the brain actually keep reproducing the same chemistry so that we keep waking up every day knowing who we are and feeling the same way. We don't have to reinvent our identity that way. And I guess it makes us feel more familiar with ourselves and more secure. And this occurs for everybody. This is what unites us as humans, is the fact that we've got this human body functioning in the most miraculous ways, actually. It's an amazing instrument, as Grandmother Parisher always shares with me, that we can use to really create beauty and a wonderful life on this planet. But it can also, I guess, in that same mechanism, be the pain and suffering that we're dealing with. And the key is education, and the key is finding ways to overcome this. So, and also understanding that we've been programmed from when we're young. So when we're little, 0 to 7 to 9, we're in the brainwave pattern of theta. And everybody goes into these brainwave patterns all the time. But when it's the most similar when you're waking up from sleep to wake, you're in that brainwave pattern of theta. And so young children are in that pattern all the time, which actually means all the time they're being programmed almost like they're in a hypnotic state. And so everything's just being downloaded into them, which is very, very efficient for learning if you think about it. Like a young being can just absorb the environment that they're in and the people that they're around. And it doesn't necessarily have to be directly taught to them. It just has to be around them and they'll soak it up. And this is wonderful if you're around environments that are really whole and healthy for your being and for your development and for you to shine. But if they're unconscious environments that have been also, if their parents have also been traumatized over generations, that can then download some painful programs into the nervous system. And so, you know, that's also a part of what we want to heal and understand and overcome. And I think understanding this helps us not blame ourselves for the things that are occurring in our nervous system. There are so many people that are just so loving and beautiful hearted, and yet we have a nervous system that's been programmed, and it's our job and responsibility to personally heal that and personally get in charge of these 52 trillion cells that we're the master of or the boss of. And those cells will work with us in the body as long as we get intentional, as long as we can focus on who we're becoming and what we'd like and start living the difference we want to see in this world. All of us on the planet, we're more similar than we are different. And it's firstly, I think, if we want to solve the world's conflict, I think we have to firstly solve the internal conflict. We have all these internal characters within ourselves that are in battle with each other, and they're trying to work out life, and they're trying to get their own needs met, and they're habitual. Many of it's habitual, and the decisions of those habits were made before we even became overly conscious of what they are. And so we just keep acting them out with each other, and other people keep pressing our own buttons, and then we react. And then it's just this vicious cycle that happens personally. And if it's happening personally, then it happens globally. And so I really believe that consciousness and unity is firstly the inner unity, the first relationship, which is to yourself. And in that, through the heart space, we can become very connected to a divine love and beingness that we are ultimately. But in my experience, it takes work, and it takes focused practice to continue to do the work of reprogramming. I've had the pleasure over the years to learn a method called EMDR therapy. And I really, really enjoy this therapy because what it allows you to do is actually go into the unconscious bank and into the limbic system of the brain and rewire the brain from that point. So it actually helps a person. There are many methods, I think, that people use to go into the unconscious realm. And to do some rescripting and rewiring. I mean, over the program, I've even heard people talk about the Akashic records and and different modalities of going in and changing and rescripting the brain. And EMDR therapy is just another one of those methods that we use to go in and rescript the brain. And, you know, a big part of that, like for all change, is actually focusing on what it is we're going for in our change. Who do we want to become? Because we can rewire the brain, we can rewire everything about us if we wanted to. It would take work, but we can. It's our choice to do that. And so if we wanted to go in and rewire the brain, there are many, many methods that we can do that. But the first one is being intentional. What are we creating about ourselves, and creating the vision? The brain has the ability to vision. That's how this event even occurred, because Dr. Uganda's beautiful ability to vision a oneness in this world and how that might unfold. He saw it, and here we are all together. The brain has this ability to vision, and in that we can vision our personal identity, who we want to be, how we want to live. And in that visioning, we can actually create and wire our brains to become that. So by focusing and practicing who we want to be, that means sitting down in our meditations and actually visualizing, who is this person that I'm developing myself to be? Who am I becoming? See that play out in your mind and practice that over and over again. Get scripts together, write them down, and actually speak the script and practice the beingness, because it's in that we can rewire our feelings, we rewire our brain, and it's what we rewire and practice is who we become. And then all these things become a lot easier. We get less reactive with each other. We start to find a more heart-space living, because that's what we want to develop. So we choose to bring up the feelings of love and care, and then allow them to become more familiar, you know. And I think the biggest gift we can give each other is attention, a simple smile at each other, seeing a stranger's face and smiling into their eyes and giving them acknowledgement of their existence. These are small things that we can give each other and give ourselves as well. Every day is this acknowledgement of self, acknowledgement of other, and seeing ourselves in each other. But I wanted to share that there are just so many tools out there now. I mean, I've also started to learn neurofeedback, which is really, really interesting. I feel like I'm quite a beginner in that area, but it's actually a way of rewiring the brain through putting electrodes on the brain and setting up a game that will train the brain to actually calm its neural pathways, calm down the high beta that often people are in, which is the fast brainwave pattern. And it can actually rescript the patterns of the brain. Science is just amazing right now. It's just exploding. And bringing all these things together is really, really powerful. It's an exciting time to be on the planet. We're going through so much shift, and the internal optimist in me and in my heart knows that this is all good times and all good things. Like, this is really exciting times to come because of the knowledge that's out there and how we can personally apply all of that. I don't know how I'm doing for time, to be honest. I have no idea. But I'm happy to sort of leave it there for now and come on in the panel discussion, because I know there are so many wonderful speakers.